Hey everybody, welcome to Midweek Message Reveal, Wednesday, August 21st. Okay, so we've got lots going on this week. The collective, meaning all of us, are really feeling a lot because we're going through a lot of things. And with 5 planets in retrograde, and Mercury being one of them, it's affecting our communication, it's also affecting how we communicate. And then we have everything else that's also in retrograde that is affecting the energy around the way we get things done, around the way we communicate and how it comes out of our mouth with our intention versus how it is received by the other person who is receiving the information, and their perception. It has a lot to do with our relationships with other people right now is being tested. Our allegiance to ourselves versus our allegiance to a group is the big theme, as we're seeing play out across several different landscapes. There's the desire to be at a polar opposite is really tempting, and that's not a bad thing. Duality is a thing. It's just a matter of understanding that things are different because they're the same. You have to have the contrast in order for you to understand there needs to be a both and in this situation. It's not one or the other. They're both necessary. So it's a desire to meet in the middle. It's a desire to meet in a common ground, and a feeling of friction is really coming through because of what's happening with Venus. So we have Venus that moved into Virgo on the 4th. On the 22nd, that's tomorrow, it will be squaring with Mars, and Mars is in Sagittarius. Mars is the planet of war. So anything that Mars kind of influences and comes into contact with is going to bring some angsty sort of bitchy vibes to it, but not in a negative way, in like a I need to get my needs met kind of way. So if you're feeling that energy, it's coming through with a vengeance. And with Sagittarius, it's going to see this in a really big way. It's not going to be very detailed. That's going to piss off Virgo, because Virgo's like, I need to know everything and I need to make sure it computes, because then I feel like I am in control of my environment, which gives me a sense of calm, which I understand because I do have a lot of Virgo in my chart. I also have a lot of Sag. So you're at odds with yourself in a lot of ways. The way you feel in a relationship is going to be tested a little bit around this Venus energy, because it's going to create that friction, and it's going to want to be discussed because of the influence of Mercury. It's going to want to be felt and worked out because of Saturn pressing on things. So there's a lot that's happening here. So if you're feeling that, you are wanting to get into a space of balance, in a space of stasis, and it's hard to tell when that's going to happen, how it's going to happen, if it's your responsibility to make it happen, if it's somebody else's responsibility, if you should be mad that it's someone else's responsibility about it, or if you should feel vindicated, all of these things. There's lots of emotions, essentially. And that's 3 minutes of me talking about vibes. Anyway, so there's a lot happening. We had the full supermoon, blue supermoon, in Aquarius just the other day as well. So that should be washing through a lot of funk. If you've got upper respiratory, digestive stuff coming up, feel like you got a lot of funk in your face, a lot of snottiness, a lot of dryness. You could have the opposite, where you feel like a desert. And again, special alert, I am not a medical doctor, so please don't not take care of yourself because of what I'm saying here. So please consult a professional if you are in need of that. But if you are experiencing some of these sensations, and there seem to be a little bit more happening in the last couple days, well, hey, maybe there's a reason. And it could be connected to that. Plus, we are 70% water, and the moon has a lot of influence on that from a science standpoint. So there you go. I'm going to jump into the readings. So we're going to jump into the channeling. I really loved everybody's reactions this week. I love these lenses. Crystals are one of my faves. I love talking crystals. I work with crystals differently now than I did in the beginning of this whole journey of spirituality. And there's a lot of things about spirituality that have changed for me as I've gotten more and more into it and become, made it part of my livelihood and made it my daily passion. So if you're interested in hearing about any of that, I'm looking to see what kind of audience there is for that, because I would love to field some of that in a discussion group, or maybe we could work together somehow. Okay, so thank you. And just real quick, if you would like to work with me, I would love to work with you. I love creating custom sessions. So what I do have on my website is kind of a what is offered but can be discussed. So please feel free to reach out here and check me. All right, so I'm gonna get into the channeling now. So if you could just go ahead and take a moment, get yourself a little centered. I'm gonna get myself cracked a little bit here so I can get into the vibes. All right, I'm gonna start with one. And remember, you can choose more than one. I love hearing about how you chose them and why. I always find those things interesting. Okay, so if you chose one, here she is, rutilated. She pretty. Connecting with your energy when there is a real feeling of expansion in the way that you're expressing yourself. You're doing something different. I think the Leo energy that we are wrapping up, because we're moving into Virgo just Thursday, tomorrow, which is not surprising that the energy feels like we need to get our shit together all of a sudden. If you're feeling that one, it's because the Leo vibe is really strong with you. Wouldn't be surprised if a majority of the people who chose one have Leo aspects or Leo placements, or if there's something really significant that happens during Leo season for you, if you feel like there's a resurgence of your life force, or if you always get, I don't know, you go on vacation this time every year. It's something that's ritualistic. Also seems to be a part of what's going on here with one. But what you're expanding upon is how you see yourself. You're starting to see how other people see you, and it's a different sort of awareness. At first, that awareness is jarring because you realize that if you see people in a different way now, like you're starting to give people more grace, you're starting to utilize your sense of compassion for yourself with other people. So like the way they show up right away isn't so much like, oh God, what's her problem? She seems like a total train wreck. Or like, oh, look at him. Like he looks like he just rolled out of bed. Blah, 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 he can't take care of himself. Those things where you just rapid fire start judging stuff about people. Maybe that is something that you used to do. What you're finding now is that you yourself have been in situations where you have been a hot mess and a dumpster fire person, and life can make people like that at times. And maybe that's happening for this lady and she's just having a shit day. Or that guy, maybe he dumped a whole bucket of coffee all over himself and it just re-dried, and he was spending time in the car until he had to go to work, and you just saw him all crumply. These are interesting. The point being is that you are starting to give yourself grace, others are giving you grace, and you're starting to see yourself in a way that is more beautiful. It's almost like you're starting to dig your style. You're starting to go like, hey, you know what? Maybe I am interested in this different color that I would never ever wear. Or maybe I'm starting to, want to wear something that's a little more sporty casual, but that's really outside of my really buttoned up look that most people see me as. And I'm a little nervous about letting myself off the hook and just going straight relaxo, which please do. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. Let's take it to Cash Town, please. Come on. It's a beautiful, beautiful population. It's always growing. Let yourself live is coming through real strong. Let yourself live. Take yourself off the hook. One. Let yourself express. Go get a haircut. Go get new frames. Go get your teeth whitened. Go do something that makes you feel good about yourself. Because the thing about transitioning into Virgo from Leo, where Leo's all like showing out, look how awesome I am, ain't I so awesome, fucking rad, okay? That energy only goes so far. It needs to be maintained. And here is Virgo season ready to put into place a structure of self-care that is going to allow you to continue to feel awesome, look great, and be your best self, and show up as your best self, and start to see yourself as other people see you, because you're pretty fucking cool. That is one. All right, moving on to two. If you chose two, here is your lens. Oh, she's so pretty. Okay. 2. So I'm feeling like I'm frustrated by trying to do something. I'm trying to get something accomplished and I can't get it accomplished. I'm seeing a Rubik's Cube. I'm seeing a pegboard with different pegs that don't fit in the right spots, and it's just a no whack-a-mole. I'm seeing whack-a-mole. Okay, so there's a lot of this. So many attempts to get what you feel you're supposed to be doing right or accomplished or done in order to get to the next step is happening, and you've gone through these trials. Like, I did this, why isn't this happening? I did this, why isn't this happening? You asked me to jump through this hoop, why isn't this happening? You kind of said that this was going to happen at this timeline, and it isn't happening. Why isn't it happening? Okay, well, first off, let's first take a breath too, because I feel you, I know where you're at. It sucks to be in this space, but the reason why you're in this space has nothing to do with you. You did nothing. First off, relinquish the feeling that you did something wrong. You didn't. It's part of the process of getting you to a place where you learn to let go. Letting go is really hard. I suck at letting go. Just an aside. But when I finally let go, she gone. You know what I'm saying? And you're getting to a place where you let stuff go sooner and quicker and with less attachment, sticky feelings, with less rumination and feelings of regret, or having those conversations with someone that you've kind of been like, we're done here, or I don't like this, or I'm gonna not resubscribe, whatever it is. You're doing it in a way that is less about how you're perceived and more about how you feel. So your connection to yourself and your ability to let some things go is really shining right now. The desire to put into place a routine that is going to support that, very similar to what was happening with the first group, is going to be exacerbated here by Virgo season. So if you're looking to get into a space where you can really flex that vibe, you're going to have to make time for it. You're going to have to get into a routine. You're going to have to allow yourself the space. You're going to have to actually pencil it in, because you're so excited by all of the things going on right now. There's so much there's so much frenetic energy that is possible for you with all of these plates spinning, these tasks. You're not sure where to go, and what this daily practice or an opportunity to sit and actually brainstorm things that you really do want and how you want your life to go, or how you want your day to go, or how you want your morning to go. You can take it hour by hour even. Really is going to start with you sitting down and actually focusing on what it is you want and need. And you're the only person who can figure that out. So nothing that's going on is your doing. Its persistence, though, and how frustrating it is based on your reaction to it. If you can kind of just see this as part of the process of you figuring out what you want, and you're just in a kind of a shuffle, a legit shuffle, then maybe you don't feel so victimized, like, why is this happening to me? And then you can't get out of it because you're stuck in the wah-wahs, and you don't want to be stuck there. You can get out of it, okay? Try it. Happy to help with that as well. That's one of the things I like to assist with clients, is kind of getting you in something that you feel good about. All right, moving on to 3. There's been a change in your vision in a physical way and in a metaphorical way, okay? In a physical sense, you're starting to see things differently, literally, like colors look different. You might be getting like little sparklies. You might be catching light out of the corner of your eye and your periphs. That happens. You might be when you like lay back and close your eyes for a minute or two, or take a cat nap, or even right before you fall asleep. It's almost as if someone's shining like a pen light in your eye, and your eyes are closed, and you're like, what the hell? So there's a lot that's happening in the eyes. And what's awesome about that is that it's an expansion of both your physical sight and an expansion of your intuitive sight and your ability to see and foresee and intuit what's actually being presented. So at this point in time for you, there's a lot of things that are kind of in flux. There's a carryover in a sense with some of the energy of 2 now in 3. So I know that some of you have chosen multiples, so this might be in addition to what was previously said. But the customizing and the choosing and the picky feelings about how you want things to look is more possible now with the Virgo energy. So again, we're looking at the structures and how you can put into place things that will sustain the desires of what the energy is bringing forth and closing now with Leo season. The feeling of self-confidence, the feeling of capability, of adaptability, of resilience, and all of that is coming through in your perception. And if you're starting to view your environment and people in your environment and seeing things in a different way, if you're noticing that those things are happening, you're also probably intuiting feelings around those things where you are spending more time in the moment, taking more of a breath, allowing yourself more pause. And this slowing down vibe might also be connected to your energy where you're feeling a little bit bottomed out at times, where you feel like you're good, and then you're just like, whoo, someone pulled a plug. It's because you're in a sense of balancing. And astrologically, with the influence of the fire sign and the earth signs interacting with one another, as well as the solar energy that we have going on, and then just the emotionality of being a human in this space and time, and life is just expensive. And there's lots going on, but there's lots of beautiful things too. You're learning how to balance, and balance seems to be across the whole board here. Everyone's sort of pressure point. Allow yourself to dream into a space that you get to create on how you want things to look and how you want to be perceived and how you would like to move forward. Because the opportunity to plan that, to create a blueprint, to create a livable structural routine is here, and that energy is now. All right, moving on the board. All right, if you chose 4, this one actually has been busted, but it's a pretty one of mine that I love, so I've never gotten rid of it, and it has a beautiful rainbow. All right, so 4. You've moved into a different phase. Okay, so like I'm seeing like a book be closed, like, and I'm just seeing going back and forth. So a chapter essentially has closed for you 4, and there's feelings around that you're not really sure how you feel. And there are moments where you feel really swept up, and it's almost like I should have paid more attention to this, or I should have, it's whatever the chapter is that's closing feels like you want to be nostalgic, you want to gather something, you want even to take a token, you want something to hold as a memory, as a piece of this segment of your life, and that's a beautiful thing. Do it if you feel so inclined. I would also say, for those of you that don't know how, or that doesn't feel right to you, memorialize this in some way, whether you you're someone who journals, maybe you're someone who scrapbooks, or if you are like a digital hoarder person like me and create little things that you can kind of keep in a electronic bookshelf somewhere that you can look at later. Allow yourself to really kind of close the door on this experience. There are pros and cons to closing the door. There's pros and cons on being in the other area that you've moved into, where you've closed this book and we're opening another, or there's a new leaf that's added. There's access to more of the story that you've decided to take a hard pivot on, and that's exciting, but it's also scary. But man, it's ballsy. Good for you. So celebrate that part I feel that there's a group of people who are looking to get you moved over into this new realm too quick. And you're allowed to do, your pace is perfect. However you want to move this over, however you want to get from point A to point B is totally up to you. There's no right way to do it. And this is your thing to do. So don't let anybody comment on it. But yeah, you might be grieving it a little bit. Yeah, you might be, wishing for the comforts of the old routine. And again, here we are with the routines. But you're learning how to take some of the best parts of the old one and put it into the new one. And I think that there's something particularly that's like a daily thing that maybe started when you were in this other realm, in this other position. Maybe it was a role, or maybe it was in a relationship, or something that you did, a friendship, something that closed. There was something really good about that now has become part of your daily practice and your day-to-day life that you don't even recognize. Maybe stop and take a look at that and see how pieces of you have allowed this experience to become part of you. And you are growing through it, and this next chapter without what you have just completed and written and read would not be possible. So show gratitude for that, and that will help you get through to the other phase. Don't feel like you're abandoning anything. You're changing and you're growing, and you're allowing yourself new opportunities through this little bit of risk and this beautiful jump of courage. And it's a beautiful thing, and you're already rewarded. It already feels right. So good luck there, and just enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the process, because the process is really what it's all about. It's the in-between that's the most important. Okay? So those are the messages this week. As I said before, we'd love to work with you, so please feel free to reach out here at my website, fill out a contact form, and we can talk business. If you... I would love to hear your feedback as well. Sorry. I do want to know what you think about this. And your accuracy really helps me. It helps other people see that I'm on it, and that's kind of what we need is a calling card here. So I would appreciate that. Thank you for your tags and shares. Thank you for your likes and subscribes and all that good stuff. And I look forward to seeing you next week. I will check you later. Peace out. All right, bye.